dotting the I's, crossing the T's on our brackets. Before we get into that, we finally about reached March Madness. But at the Division II level, we are in the midst of it. Right here at the University of Indianapolis, you host the entire Midwest Regional. First two rounds of that, Saturday and Sunday. We have a guy right here that called 6 games in 2 days.
Yeah, 6 games, 2 days. Fun time.
Hedge, Jace, Hodge. I'm Caden, Colford. Jace is going to be our resident expert on these games today because he saw literally every player that touched the court for every second that they were on the court. First, it was the hosting UINDY Greyhounds to start the weekend off against the team that they had not been able to figure out at all. That was William Jewell. They lost the conference tournament to them, but in that game, they get it done, Jace.
They did respond well. Like you said, UINDY lost to William Jewell in that conference semifinal game in overtime. But this time, William Jewell didn't shoot as well as they did in the semifinal game. The Greyhounds had them figured out, took a 16-point lead in the halftime. They did go on an 8-minute scoring drought to be in the second half, but they were still up by 7 after that. William Jewell didn't make the run when they needed to, and the Greyhounds from there just cruise controlled the rest of the way out, won by 6.
Other games in the first round, you saw 2 GLIAC teams in Northern Michigan and Ferris State, the 4 and the 5. Ferris State would wipe the floor with that one, 81-65. Upper Iowa, that's another GLVC team. They were in the 7th seed.
They were. 2
seed in the GLVC with 7th seed in the region. They come out and they upset the number 2 seed. That would have been Kentucky Wesleyan. I heard that Wesleyan squad wasn't too happy about that one. I wouldn't either. But Upper Iowa, great win from them after a Jake Hilmer 32-point outing. Lake Superior State would win a great game against Walsh, who won the GMAC.
This game surprised me because Walsh, in my opinion, was the best team on paper, I think, heading into this regional, being 25-5, and then they won the GMAC conference. 2-5 losses all year came against Wesleyan, who was also in the tournament. Yep. And Walsh, I mean, they had this game under control. Up by 13, 7 minutes to go, had led the entirety of the game, and all of a sudden, here come the Lakers. Lake Superior State figured things out at the end, figured out how to guard Walsh and their offense, and the Lakers moved on.
That was the slate for Saturday. Then you moved to Sunday. Last night, we had 2 games. First, it was Upper Iowa and Lake Superior State. And in that one, Lake Superior State would win by 8. And wasn't always exactly in the bag, but Lake Superior State just pulled it out at the right time, got it done.
And they played great defense when they needed to do so, especially against Jake Hilmer. Jake Hilmer, the Midwest Region Player of the Year, had 32 points in that first round game. Lake Superior State did a good job of clogging the lane. They didn't allow Hilmer, because he loves to go in the mid-range, down the middle of the court, and they clogged it, didn't allow him to get any easy buckets, forced Upper Iowa into some tough situations late in the game, and they were able to see it out. So the Lakers, they're in the final.
We're looking for Upper Iowa in the GLVC next year, but as you said, they're done. Lake Superior is into the final, and the final game last night was to decide who plays them. It was UINDY and Ferris State. UINDY, one of the best in the GLVC, against Ferris State. It's one of the best in the GLIAC. And UINDY, they led by, 10 at halftime?
I believe so.
10 at halftime, they fell on the losing side of this one. They lost 94-87. And I wasn't there in the closing minutes, Jace, but what happened?
Well, it went to overtime first off. It was a similar situation to what happened in the conference semifinal. Ferris State hit a late 3 to tie it and send it to OT. So deja vu hit on the Greyhounds. Same situation, semifinal, overtime, game tying 3 by the opposite squad, and then overtime. They led at the beginning. They had a chance. They led by 2, stole the inbounds pass. Bingham missed the layup, and then Ferris State went down, hit a 3, and from there they controlled overtime.
Wow. So UIND season over at that point. Looking into tomorrow night, it's going to be Jace and I on the call on UIND TV to broadcast that championship of the Midwest Regional. And it's set for Ferris State and Lake Superior State. For anyone tuning in tomorrow night, what should they expect?
Well, it's an all-GLIAC battle. 2 GLIAC squads, Ferris State being the GLIAC Conference Tournament champions. Lake Superior, an underdog coming into this one, having fallen in the first round of the GLIAC tournament, but 2 phenomenal squads. I think Ferris State will be the favorite heading into this one. They have a great shooting squad. They can shoot lights out from the 3. Look for Ethan Erickson, the dude is Steph Curry reincarnated on that court, because he will hit 3 step back from 30 feet.
And the thing was, last night, he was, 0 for 4
and then he
for
hit
a while?
A few threes, 2 in regulation and 2 in overtime. That really were the reason Ferris State won this ball game.
Hey, timely buckets, get it done for Ferris State. They'll see Lake Superior in the final. We can't wait. That's tomorrow Do you have a pick in this one, do you think?
I think Ferris State will see this one out. Having won the GLIAC, facing a GLIAC squad they've seen twice this year, I think Ferris State has the upper hand in this one, but I keep doubting the Lakers. I picked against them twice. See if they can't pull off another upset.
Two teams that have been here, done that, looking to do it again heading into tomorrow. But we have to break down this UINDY squad. And a season where we're raising our eyebrows up to the first weekend saying what's going on. Now was when you did play Lake Superior State, I think Parkside, Kentucky Wesleyan, all in that opening weekend. And then you see your seniors go on tears this year. We've got to mention those four guys, right?
Yep.
Kendrick Choa, Jesse Bingham, Josiah Tynes, David Eja, 4 of your 5 starters are gone, but their UINDY careers, nothing but remarkable.
100%. I mean, the accolades a lot of them received. I mean, Choa was a region player of the year just last year. This year he was second team all-region. Bingham was first team all-region in that Midwest regional announcement for the all teams. And, I mean, phenomenal careers. I mean, for the years they were here under head coach Paul Corsaro, phenomenal players, phenomenal dudes as well.
2 All-Americans.
Yep.
You have Josiah Tynes, who this coaching staff considers the greatest mind in college basketball. Not D2, not the Midwest regional.
And Tynes played his best 2 games in this tournament, in my opinion. He
did.
had 2
He played
phenomenal games.
He played great, especially from beyond the arc. The guy found his stroke. We needed it most, and it sucks to see him go. But David Eja, also a guy, you come into IU.
He came onto the scene this year, out of nowhere, being burst onto the scene, starting 5, and he played great all year long. Was really huge to the squad and a reason they were so successful this season.
I mean, you had multiple games where he was sitting at that 4, 5, 6 block mark. And he had games where he was over 20. He had multiple double-doubles this season. The guy was a blast to watch alongside his 3 other seniors. And quickly, what do you think we have to look forward to looking to next year?
I mean, there are still some great players on the squad, namely Jarvis Walker, who to end the season was probably the best player on that squad scoring-wise. He's a phenomenal shooter. And hopefully they will get also Paul's Linskis back into the squad. Obviously had that late season injury, missed the last 2 months of play. Hopefully they get him back. And then Sean Craig is going to be one guy that will really need to step up for this team. But obviously expect Corsaro to hit the portal hard, hit the recruiting head hard, and get some players to come in to replace those 4 seniors.
There's 2 big names loose in the GLVC.
There is.
Both out of McKendree. You have Caleb Zerlini and Milos Vicentic.
And I think Zerlini would be a guy that UINDY would like because he's defensive. I think he was the D-boy.
He was Defensive Player of the Year.
And I know from what I've seen online, Milos is getting D1 looks.
Yeah.
So he'll probably go up to the next level of basketball, which deservedly so. He's a phenomenal basketball player.
A lot of people probably have him right there at number 2 in the conference.
Yeah.
If he wasn't the Player of the Year, obviously Jay Kilmer won that accolade. It was going to be Milos Vicentic. But you're saying he's getting the D1 looks. We're excited for him. We're also excited for all these UINDY seniors as they move into their next form of career in basketball or out of basketball, going on to careers outside of college. We're excited. We're excited for this team next year. And I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I did this with the women's team too. Do you have a favorite moment that you look to kind of sum the season up?
Favorite moment? I don't know. Maybe beating William Jewell in the revenge game in the tournament. I mean, that was nice to see because William Jewell had really caused them problems all year long.
Yeah.
And to get that win, I know it was very sweet for everyone involved.
I'm thinking of all the head tappers that we saw from Jesse. Choa had a great one at Grand Valley State. David Eja, I think it was the William Jewell game. Might have been the William Jewell game. I know he tried to dunk on Kobe McKinley once or twice.
Yeah.
I don't know if he got it, but I know he caught a body really early in one game, and it was a beautiful dunk. Just a fun athletic team to watch, and we're sad to see their season come to an end, but we're also happy that we got to watch it happen. With that Division II basketball, we now move into some bracketology, if you will, after this. Jace and I, we're going to make all of our picks, every single one of them, live next on our video wall here at Last Call.
So the overall mission here at Flannel House Indy is to help with the development and growth, the self-efficiency and self-sufficiency of the near northwest side of Indianapolis. When the Double Eights closed in the area, that left the near northwest side a food desert. So Brandon Cosby, the executive director of Flannel House, started with the Flannel House Farms, where they grow fresh produce organically for the neighborhood around. And then later on down the line, Clio's came about. So we're here to help with the sustainability of getting fresh food at cheap prices to the locals around. Black owned, black ran. That's the gist of Clio's for the most part.
Emma Donnan, elementary and middle school. Discover the Donnan difference. A school where you can celebrate others. Come together as a community. Be a part of a learning environment where students and teachers are appreciated. Emma Donnan, a culture that can't be beat, that's going onward together. A school filled with love. Emma Donnan.
I love my school.
How about those Nuggets this year, Jace? It sounds like a chip to me.
They ain't going back to back. Ain't no one getting past Boston. They got a super team, man.
All right, Jace, check up. This is the last call. Jace and I head-to-head on football, baseball, basketball, and everything UINDY.
Mondays, 6 p.m. UINDY TV on YouTube and Xfinity Stream Channel 1096.
Emma Donnan, elementary and middle school. Discover the Donnan difference. A school where you can celebrate others. Come together as a community. Be a part of a learning environment where students and teachers are appreciated. Emma Donnan, a culture that can't be beat, that's going onward together. A school filled with love. Emma Donnan.
I love my school.
How about those Nuggets this year, Jace? It sounds like a chip to me.
They ain't going back to back. Ain't no one getting past Boston. They got a super team, man.
All right, Jace, check up. This is the last call. Jace and I head-to-head on football, baseball, basketball, and everything UINDY.
Mondays, 6 p.m. UINDY TV on YouTube and Xfinity Stream Channel 1096.
So the overall mission here at Flannel House Indy is to help with the development and growth, the self-efficiency and self-sufficiency of the near northwest side of Indianapolis. When the Double Eights closed in the area, that left the near northwest side a food desert. So Brandon Cosby, the executive director of Flannel House, started with the Flannel House Farms, where they grow fresh produce organically for the neighborhood around. And then later on down the line, Clio's came about. So we're here to help with the sustainability of getting fresh food at cheap prices to the locals around. Black owned, black ran. That's the gist of Clio's for the most part.
We're back, and we are in chase of something that has eluded millions, maybe not even millions, maybe billions of brackets across the world for years on years on years. We're chasing a perfect bracket here in March Madness. And the way we're going to do it might be a little complicated of a system, but how it's going to work, first, it's going to start with Jace. He's going to pick this entire East region here. I will follow up, and then I will start the South. But let's just hop right into it, Jace. I'm ready to go.
Shall we?
I got the scripture in front of me here
I'm going
to see how we're going. But I'll let you start
Okay.
here in the East region first.
Well, got to begin with UConn, the 1 seed, defending champion. They're going to beat a 16 seed. I mean, it shocked me if Destin won that game. And then FAU, they had a crazy run last year. Give me them to win that one. The Wildcats have some injuries on their side, so FAU can win that one. Then looking at the 5-12 matchup, I've teeter-totted with this one, but I'm going to go with San Diego State over UAB. Also, a run from them last year, made the Final Four, made the finals, and played UConn. So these 3 teams right here, all Final Four teams last season. But then I'm going to go with Auburn over Yale. Yale struggles against some size, and Auburn is going to take advantage of that, in my opinion. This region, very top-heavy. I'm going to continue with the higher seeds, go with BYU to beat the Quins here, and then Illinois as well over Morehead State. And then give me the 10-seed Drake in the upset.
Yeah.
You call it upset, but I think this is actually a better team
I
than Drake.
like that pick as
And
well.
then Iowa State over South Dakota State, I should say. And then go back to top of the region. Now we get possibly some upsets as you get to the second round. But UConn, still a better team in my opinion, over FAU. UConn, best team in the nation, defending champions obviously.
Okay.
Give me Auburn over San Diego State. Auburn does tend to struggle against better teams, but this one I do think they will win. And then you look down at BYU, Illinois. This one's close for me, but I'm going to go with the Illini to beat BYU. Going to stay with the better teams in this region and continue as well with Iowa State to beat Drake. Iowa State winning that Big 12 championship, huge. I mean, it wasn't even close. And you look back now, we had our Final Four in this region. I'm going to go with UConn to beat Auburn. UConn, really good. Auburn struggles against big teams like UConn. So
Yeah.
UConn wins that one. And then give me the Illini to beat Iowa State. This one's tough for me. I've been struggling with that matchup.
Well, you have the Big Ten champs.
Yeah, I know. The Big 10 champs, the Big 12 champs, the Big East champs, the SEC champs.
Yeah.
This region is stacked. But that's going to be my Elite Eight in that region, UConn and Illinois.
Okay. I like what you're doing here. I like what you're doing here for the most part. We'll get started off pretty similar. I'm liking UConn at the 1. This is one of the best teams in college basketball. They're the favorite to repeat this year. This is where we're going to start to disagree a little bit.
Okay.
FAU, I'm not even sure if they should be in the tournament over someone like Indiana State, right?
Oh,
They got
I
knocked
agree,
off,
but okay.
Northwestern has always had a knack for winning big games. And what is this, a big game? Northwestern's going to take it at that 9th spot. We'll look at that next one later. But as for right now, you have San Diego State, as you said. They're returning from a Final Four appearance. They will beat UAB and play a number 4 in Auburn. Like you said, Yale, they give up some size. That's what happens with a lot of these small schools when you come into the big dance, right? Well, we don't have time. We don't have any time to play with some little kids coming to the big dance. Okay, BYU, they're going to take one and one. They're playing Illinois. So you'll have BYU and Illinois in that matchup. You know, I would like to see an OVC school do something. It's just not likely. It's just not likely against the reigning Big Ten champs. It's not going to happen.
I do think Morehead was underseeded. I felt like it should be like a 13 or a 12 even, but they got a tough game with Illinois.
That's one of the toughest and a stacked region, as you said, as well. So moving through these again, number 10 Drake, they're the Big East champs. That's the Big East champs. They're going to win this one. They played a tough Indiana State school, which I have to mention. They're 29th ranked net-wise
that's the highest
in college
ever.
Basketball. Highest that's ever been left out of the NCAA tournament.
How did they not get in over Virginia?
That's a team that got snubbed, if you're asking me.
Them and Oklahoma both, in my opinion. But
Well, the Sycamores, I'm thinking about them. I'm thinking about them this week and on Selection Sunday yesterday. Iowa State, South Dakota State. Give me Iowa State, and they will play the reigning champs of the Big East as we move back up to UConn and Northwestern. Northwestern, they win big games, but the lights,
you better not.
lights are too bright in this one. UConn has it. They're going to beat Northwestern. San Diego State, this is a team that builds itself on its defense, and this is a team that I think will beat Auburn and possibly have a chance to go to that Elite Eight, but we'll see. We will see. You move down to the Big East champs and the Big 12 champs, Drake and Iowa State. Now this will be an upset for Drake. I think I just skipped the game actually, but no. No. We're going to go with Iowa State. That's a promise on that bottom side. But then BYU and Illinois. Yeah, the Big Ten champs, they look good.
They do.
I think they look really good.
It is a curse winning the Big Ten, but Illinois, I think, is a different team than some of those previous Big Ten champions, such as Purdue, namely last year.
And throughout the region now, you're sitting on 2 games, and UConn and San Diego State. Yeah, it's UConn. I think it's a powerhouse that has not an easy schedule, but one that they have almost played this season. Right? UConn's had a tough schedule, I think, this season, and they've played through it like it's nothing. And on the bottom end, this is Big Ten champs, Big 12 champs. I like Iowa State. I think Iowa State does a little more on both ends of the ball.
It's a very top-heavy region, this one.
I think so as well. So that's going to set up 1 and 2 out of the region. But they're ranked 1 and 2 for a reason, right? The best 2 are going to be the last 2 standing. And as we move now into the round of 64 in the South region.
Hopefully I'm not blocking. Move over a little bit.
Yeah, you can go ahead and
we'll switch sides.
We'll kind of take a bird's eye view on this thing. But you have number 1 Houston playing 16 Longwood. Houston is good. Houston, really good, I think. Then move down a slot. You have Nebraska playing Texas A&M, where Nebraska has been playing good basketball as well in the Big Ten. I'm going to take them over Texas A&M. Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken, has beat Purdue a couple times this year. I'm thinking Purdue being the team that they have, being in the top 3 the entire season they've went in. Wisconsin had them figured out. Wisconsin can figure out big games. They can figure out big teams. James Madison isn't exactly at that
They beat
stature.
Michigan State earlier this season.
They beat Michigan State. Well, that's great. But Wisconsin is going to take that one.
Okay.
Duke and Vermont. I think Duke, even though there's no Coach K anymore, this is a program that, as I've said for a couple of these teams, has just been there and done that. And I think we're going to see the exact same thing heading into this March. They will play Wisconsin. And then this is one of my favorite teams in the whole tournament right here, and Kentucky. Oh, wait, excuse me. We'll get to them here in a second. I keep skipping games. I'm getting lost. This is an important game, too. NC State, they just won the ACC.
5 games in 5 days. They won 5 games in 5 days to win the ACC.
And I think they're going to win another. 11 is going to knock off 6.
Wow.
NC State is going to move on in the dance. And now you're going to have one of my favorite teams play another one of my favorite teams. As I just said in Kentucky, Kentucky can flat out score the ball.
Yeah.
How do you win a basketball game? You score the ball. Let's throw Kentucky in there. And then, obviously, we're waiting on this Boise-Colorado matchup. It doesn't matter. Florida's going to take it. Florida will win that game no matter who comes out of these 2. Marquette and Western Kentucky. You know, Marquette's a little banged up, right? Couple injuries on their side, but still, this is a 2 playing to 15. They've been in the spotlight all year. Marquette, go ahead and take this one as we move back to the top to play Houston and Nebraska. Nebraska's playing good basketball. Houston, they're playing great basketball, so I'll be very, very shocked if Houston does not take both of these games pretty handily, come out of that one. Wisconsin and Duke. Now, this is one that is a little harder because Duke, I mentioned it. They've been there, done that. You can check the trophy case. Duke is just one of those squads. It's a blue blood. But Wisconsin's playing great basketball right now. Wisconsin's hot. I think Wisconsin just has a better feel for everything going on. Shots are falling for them right now. And Wisconsin will hope the slight upset. I'm not willing to call it, a crazy wow kind of thing, but Wisconsin will definitely beat Duke. And now 2 squads, NC State, Kentucky. Kentucky's a weird squad because obviously we're just playing 1 game here. We're not playing 7-game series. Kentucky, I think, is a team that can beat anybody in a 1-game series.
Lose to anybody.
But they can lose to anybody. This one, though, they are going to win against a tough NC State. This will be a game to watch. This will be a fun.
And NC State, they have that big. I absolutely love.
Yeah, he's tough. It'll be a tough matchup for anyone on Kentucky. That's for sure. Florida and Marquette as we head down. This is where Marquette's injuries catch up to them. I think number 7 Florida will take the upset, if you want to call it that, and will go on to play Kentucky. So in Houston and Wisconsin, Houston's going to take that one. I think Houston almost runs through the division with pretty much ease to that point. And then another fun game. These are two teams that want to play almost exactly like each other, Kentucky and Florida. I'm excited, looking for Kentucky to pull this one out, though.
All right, well, it's my turn for the South region. Houston over Longwood, easy enough. Houston, in my opinion, the best team in all of college basketball. Look at Nebraska, Texas A&M. Nebraska has Keisei Tominaga. Love him. They're going to beat A&M in this game and maybe pull off an upset. We'll get to that. Wisconsin, James Madison, like you said, Wisconsin playing great basketball. Madison, I love I love their squad and how they play, but give me the Badgers in that one. And Duke and Vermont, this is a game I could see an upset in with Vermont. Vermont has been here these last 4 or 5 years, but they haven't won a big game. So give me Duke. Because like you said, they've been here. They have done that. The Blue Devils will win this ball game. This is where we're going to start disagreeing. NC State, I like their squad. They're going to be exhausted. I mean, 5 games in 5 days is still tough to recover from. Give me Texas Tech in that one. I love the Big 12 and the brand of basketball they play. Texas Tech played in a tough conference.
Okay.
Kentucky, Oakland, give me the Wildcats. I love their offensive basketball. I love Reed Shepherd. I love Dillingham. I love their squad they have. This is also a disagreement here. I think the winner of Boise, Colorado will beat Florida. Florida lost their center to a snapped ankle in the SEC championship game.
That's tough.
So injuries will take
away.
over on Florida. Marquette, this is where I could see a 2-15 upset, but give me Marquette to beat Western Kentucky in that one. And back to the top of the region, Houston, Nebraska. I can see an upset here if Nebraska can shoot well, but Houston, they prevent that shooting, so give me the Cougars to win that.
Houston's too consistent.
And then I actually agree with you in this one. Wisconsin, Duke. Wisconsin is the hotter team in my opinion, so give me the Badgers over the Blue Devils in that one. You look down at Kentucky and Texas Tech. I think this is where Kentucky's defense catches up to them, and they fall to the Red Raiders of Texas Tech.
Texas Tech's a lot harder of a matchup. If they aren't to lose NC State, you might be right on that one.
And then Marquette and Boise, Colorado. I could see upset here too, but I think Marquette just has enough talent to get past a 10 seed in this region, so give me the Golden Eagles in that one. Back to top of the region, Houston. In my opinion, that defense is going to just stifle Wisconsin in this ball game. Give me the Cougars in that. And then give me the Red Raiders of Texas Tech to beat Marquette. I think they're going a little run here. I am very high on Texas Tech, but not high enough to maybe beat Houston, but we'll get to that. Now we'll go down to the West region, UNC against a Howard or Wagner. UNC, the 1 seed. I'm not going to see any 16-seed upsets this season. Be shocked if there was. Michigan State, better team than Mississippi State overall. Michigan State maybe shouldn't be in the tournament, but they're still better than Mississippi State on the right day, so give me Michigan State to beat Mississippi State in that one. This is where I see an upset. St. Mary's, I love the squad, but they got a really tough game in Grand Canyon. They've lost 3 games all year. They have a phenomenal fan base. They're going to be loud and proud, and they're going to win that game over the Gales of St. Mary's. And then Alabama, these 2 matchups right here interest me. I think Bama beats Charleston, but I think it'll be like an overtime game. Because Charleston, I love the way they play basketball. They shoot so well, but Bama shoots better. So give me Bama to beat Charleston. Also an upset here, New Mexico over Clemson. An 11, I mean, it's always an 11-6 somewhere. There's going to be that one right there.
One.
Clemson's iffy this year in the ACC. New Mexico's got hot. They won the Mountain West tournament. Baylor and Colgate. I want to pick Baylor, but I'm once again hesitant to do so because the toothpaste brand Colgate's pretty good.
Okay. I mean, they're in the dance for a reason. You can't count any.
I mean, they're in almost every year now, it feels like. But then I'm going to take Nevada as well to beat Dayton. I'm very high on the Mountain West Conference and what they've done this season. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pick Nevada and then give me Arizona over Long Beach. And go back to the top. UNC, Michigan State. If MSU plays the right game, they could beat UNC 100%, but UNC and RJ Davis, they have a great squad. 1 seed will advance over Michigan State. Then, I'm going to do it again. Grand Canyon over Alabama.
Grand Canyon.
I am very high on this Grand Canyon squad. They've lost 3 games all year for a reason. I mean, obviously not an easy not a hard conference by any means. But Bama, they really rely on that 3 sometimes. If they don't shoot well, they'll lose. Give me Grand Canyon in the upset. And then give me New Mexico. This region getting a little bit crazy.
Oh, man.
This region getting a little bit crazy. But New Mexico, once again, one of the hottest teams in all basketball in the Mountain West Conference. But this time I'll take a Mountain West team to lose, as I'll take Arizona, the 2 seed. But I do think they aren't good enough in this. But UNC, Grand Canyon, this time Grand Canyon will fall. UNC the better team by far in this ball game. Should I do it again?
Go ahead, Jace.
I'm going to do it again.
Well.
New Mexico,
You
the
might as
hottest
well.
team, in my opinion, in the tournament,
You might as
over
well.
Arizona. So I have an 11 seed in the Elite Eight. There's always some crazy team that makes a run. It's going to be New Mexico Lobos this season. Your turn.
How do I follow that one up? Right?
It's my crazy region.
We'll start with some easy ones. We'll start with North Carolina, and they'll win over the 16 seed. And this 8 and 9, I like where you're going. I think Tom Izzo kind of crawls out of his hole during March. I think he gets his team over that first game bump. Michigan State will take it. Now you're at that 5-12. This is where your bracket went. I don't even know where, Jace. I don't know where your bracket went right here. St. Mary's is a team that you do not want to play during March. St. Mary's is a team that you do not want to play during March because they're one of the slowest teams in college basketball, one of the most defensive teams, kind of like UMSL that we watched this year. That's the connection that I make to St. Mary's. It's a team that you don't want to play. It's a team that's going to just make you dribble the ball for the entire 30 seconds. St. Mary's will win at the 5 spot. Alabama, Charleston. Alabama, that's a lightning rod offense.
Where's your
They'll
upsets,
win
man?
Against Charleston. I'm playing
Telling
numbers
you.
here.
I'm telling you.
I'm playing to win.
Okay.
You're having fun. I'm playing to win. That's the difference here.
March, though.
But Clemson and New Mexico, I honestly like New Mexico. I think it'll be a great game with Clemson, but I think Clemson, with the team that they have, they're 6-seeded for a reason. Clemson
Shouldn't be 6-seeded.
will go ahead and take it. And then Baylor and Colgate, the toothpaste team, as you wanted to call them, they're playing a tough squad in Baylor. Baylor's a tough matchup and a tough conference. Baylor will go ahead and take it. Dayton and Nevada. Now I know I'm kind of picking the favorites here, but I just like Dayton. I like Dayton's pace of play. I think the slow teams play good in March. That's what I like. I think you have to be able to slow it down. I think you have to take the crowd out of things. I think you got to play your brand of basketball. Dayton just that. And Arizona will win at the bottom as well via Caleb Love. That's Caleb Love versus the world down there in A-Town. But North Carolina, Michigan State, Tom Izzo will be halted. North Carolina will go ahead and take that one. And then St. Mary's, Alabama. This is one of the fastest teams in basketball against one of the slowest teams in college basketball in St. Mary's. And in that case, you want to be the slower team. St. Mary's at number 5 will beat Alabama. Alabama will not know what to do with their offense. Now you get here to number 6 and number 3, Clemson and Baylor. Baylor's a tough matchup for a lot of these squads. Same reason they're going to win against Clemson in that round. Now you have the 7-2 at Arizona. You're asking where my upsets are at? They're right there. Dayton's going to beat Caleb Love. If you can shut down Caleb Love, I do not see that team going anywhere else on offense. I think they're a one-trick pony. I think they make it out of the first round. I think that's where they fall flat.
Okay.
North Carolina, St. Mary's. North Carolina, same story to Duke. Been there, done that. A team that you can just check the trophy case on. Down here, Baylor and Dayton. This is where Dayton's run comes to an end. Yes, good pick right there. Baylor will be up there. And that's when you move to the Midwest here, and you see Purdue, who we talked about. We got, 6, the Elite 8, all figured out as we move into this one now. But Purdue, they'll go ahead and beat the 16 seed. I think they have an easy run given the rest of these games. But Utah State and TCU, because those 9 seeds always beat the 8 seeds. I don't know what it is, but the 9 seeds always beat
actually,
the 8 seeds.
historically, they are better against 8 seeds.
It's the number 9. Gonzaga versus McNeese. I don't think this Gonzaga team is very good. I really don't. But no, McNeese is going to beat them. I don't like Gonzaga.
Okay.
I think they're riding the coattails. I think they're riding the coattails of the name. Kansas and Sanford. Kansas will win, and they will play McNeese in the next round. Texas, I just get the entire thing again. South Carolina, Oregon. I like South Carolina and a much improved SEC. Creighton and Akron. I like Creighton out of the Big East. They had a great season this year, some big wins on their schedule as we move to Texas versus Virginia or CSU. I'm thinking Texas.
Yeah.
Definitely Texas. But then Tennessee will knock the stuff out of St. Peter's.
No, I don't know. St. Peter's is a 15 seed, man. Something about it.
Something about it. Right, but Purdue, TCU, Purdue, Zach Edey, monster, they'll move on. They'll sweep through that one. Kansas will squeak by. I think Kansas is a little overrated, but they're going to squeak by against McNeese and get that game over with. Now South Carolina and Creighton. Another upset here. Creighton is good when the lights are on. When the lights are off, they're nothing. South Carolina, I think, can weather that storm and come kind of blaze through their defense. Give me number 6, South Carolina. Then you got number 2, Tennessee, taking on number 7, Texas. I just like Tennessee. I like the way they're built. I like the way they score the ball. They're going to go ahead and win that one, which will take us to Purdue, Kansas. How about Purdue? How about Purdue? Kansas, I don't think they're all that they're built up to be this year. I don't know if they're worth the seed that they're sitting at right now at 4, but Purdue will take it. South Carolina, Tennessee, it's still Tennessee. It's still Tennessee. This team is good.
All right. I get some upsets in this region. You'll see. Give me Purdue, though. They're not going to lose to a 16 seed again. In this one, give me TCU over Utah State. TCU, they've been one of the unluckiest teams in ball this season, but I think they win that one. And once again, McNeese. Going to be Gonzaga. I do agree with you on that. This is probably the most popular upset pick in everyone's brackets. Kansas will squeak by Samford. I don't like Kansas this season, but they're good enough to beat a Samford squad. Give me Oregon. They got hot in the tournament for Pac-12.
Yep.
They'll win that one. And then Creighton over Akron, to me, is an easy pick. I like Creighton. I'm not a big fan of Akron. Look down at the 7 and 10. Texas is going to beat the crap out of Virginia or Colorado State, in my opinion. Texas is just better than both of those. And then Tennessee, they'll beat St. Peter's. St. Peter's might make it close, make it scary, but Tennessee is better overall. Look up at the 1 seed. Here we go. Number 9, TCU, going to win this one. TCU been one of the unluckiest teams in basketball this season in a tough conference. I picked TCU. Don't diss me. I picked TCU over Purdue. I mean, I'm a Purdue hater. I feel like I have to do that.
Okay.
But then I think Kansas will beat McNeese, although I do think McNeese could win that game. But you look down now at Oregon-Creighton. I'm going to take the Blue Jays of Creighton to beat Oregon, and I'm going to take Tennessee to beat Texas. You look up here, give me TCU again. A Big 12 battle, TCU going on a little run, and then give me Tennessee to beat Creighton. Creighton been iffy towards the end of the season there.
Iffy is a good word
to
describe. You can't be iffy come that second round. That first game, you can sneak one out, but I don't think come the second round it suits anybody. It suits anybody. So the Elite Eight are all set now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jace.
Picking the Final Four now? All right. Well, UNC is going to be my Final Four pick down there. Tennessee is going to beat TCU. And then you go up here, give me Houston, best team in ball in my opinion, and Illinois over UConn. They got hot at the right time. They're going to be hot heading into the Final Four. Then we'll go ahead and pick these last two. Give me Illinois over UNC.
Okay.
And give me Houston over Tennessee. And this one's, to me, way too easy. Houston Cougars are going to be your Division I basketball champions.
Houston is good. Houston is consistent. Consistency, I think it goes out the window during March, however. So we'll move to that North Carolina-Baylor game where I think, where'd I get caught up? Give me Baylor. I got Baylor, and then at Tennessee, Purdue's stretch of luck. Their easy schedule runs out. They're not there no more. Look at UConn, Iowa State. This is where UConn falls. Iowa State
I can see that.
will beat them just better on both sides of the ball. I like their squad. I like their scores. I like their timeliness of scoring. Over here, Houston and Kentucky. Now this is offense versus defense, and we know come March, you want to be offensive minded, but at the same time, defense will always win that battle. Houston beats Kentucky. Now you set up the Final Four. We'll start over here on this side, Houston and Tennessee. This will be a fun game, but Houston will take it. I think Tennessee's more of like an upgraded Kentucky, if you will, but Houston will take that one. On this side, Iowa State, Baylor, Iowa State for the same exact reasons.
Big 12 final rematch.
You got it. Iowa State, Houston, looking at that rematch, Iowa State beat the stuff out of Houston.
They did.
They beat them twice this year. They're going to beat them a third time.
Wow.
Yeah, they are going to beat them a third time for all the marbles. And yes, like you said, Jace, it will be the Cyclones that take it.
Wow.
And I know that was a lot. That was a lot to kind of go through, right? But that's March. We'll check back after we recap all of these games. We've had a blast, and we'll be back for more next Monday. Jace, Hodge, Caden, Colford on Last Call.